its wheels whistling cheerfully, Sachi's mini velo zips jauntily along the road. This thing's fundamentally designed for riding around town, but fortunately, it's capable of reaching a decent speed as well. The cycle computer installed in the center indicates an average velocity of around 35 kilometers per hour. Can't compete with a motorcycle or anything, but it's still excellent performance for the size. This really is going to be tough. That said, I'm up against motor vehicles, and they have a head start. There's a decent amount of traffic since it's summer vacation and all, but they can still leave me in the dust easily enough. I'm not going to get anywhere at this rate. Fortunately, they're traveling on a winding, narrow prefectural road of the sort you'll often find in this type of small peninsula. Country roads present their own opportunities for the experienced rider. With a little luck and skill, it might be possible to catch them even riding a mini velo with a maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Assuming that the cars are heading for the metropolitan area, the entrance to the toll road 15 kilometers ahead will probably be my last chance to catch them. Any further than that, and a bicycle just won't be enough. Alright. I feel bad for Sachi, but I'm going to have to treat this thing a little roughly. Leaning heavily to the right, I turn the bicycle onto a farm road that leads to a nearby mountain. The tires crunch through rough pebbles. My whole body's jolted by small impacts running up the frame. Soon I'm surrounded by forest. The trail ahead is one of the more blatant examples of bad road you're ever likely to see. Still, I push forward without hesitating. Within seconds, leaves and branches are slapping heavily against my face and arms from all sides. I've been prepared for a badly maintained road from the start, but this almost exceeds my expectations. Truly terrible conditions. This region was once used as an army maneuvering ground. Wouldn't surprise me if this thing dates back to those days. The designers clearly weren't interested in ensuring a pleasant or easy ride. It's impossible to avoid catching the tires in the natural holes and rocks that litter the path. I struggle along as best I can, using the handles of my own weight to avoid the worst obstacles. Still, no matter how skillfully I ride, my speed keeps falling. My feelings of impatience are giving way to outright frustration. God damn it! Even so, this is a definite shortcut. Cutting straight through will get me to my objective much more quickly than following that meandering road around and around. Lowering my head, I pump the pedals as fast as possible, warding off branches with one hand when necessary. The slope of the road begins to grow slightly easier. Eventually, the overhanging trees begin to thin out as well. And suddenly, my field of vision expands dramatically. Seems I've reached the summit of this foothill. The trail is increasingly level underneath me, and it's less of a challenge to move the pedals. Best of all, the practically non-existent road finally changes to something more worthy of the name. Alright, there you are. I catch a glimpse of two black sedans on the prefectural road stretching out below. Cars like that aren't common around here, and they're exactly as Makina described them. Sakaki has to be in one or the other. Now it's just a question of catching up, I guess. The winding road they're following only continues for another 7 kilometers or so. I've got to somehow get ahead of them and set up an ambush before they get off. Doesn't help that I don't know exactly where they're going. The city's my best guess, and since they're on this road, I can speculate they're trying to take the highway, but I have no proof. If they take a different route, I'm SOL either way. At this point, I realize that the cell phone in my breast pocket is vibrating. Money. 8 missed calls. They must have been startled by that sudden exit. Could always just fill her in later, but I'd feel bad to make them worry too much. I decide to answer the call. That you, Mane? I think you're aware, but I'm in the sort of middle of something. Let's talk later. Sorry about that. I'll get in touch when things have calmed down a little. What? Look, I'm trying to follow the cars in question. Don't really have time to... I see. So that's what this is about. Ah, sorry. That would be a help. Did Sakaki get in touch or something? Not perfectly, but we should be able to hold a conversation. What's his information? I'm following the Mishima Cape coastline. The cars are heading north on the prefectural road, and I'm taking a shitty mountain road running almost parallel. Bit of a shortcut.
じゃあこっちの想像通りかもね。車がどこに向かってるか、ユージはもう掴んでる？
No. I guess they were heading to Tokyo since Sakaki's father is involved. Am I wrong?
やっぱり榊さんの実家が関係してたのね。だったら当たりかも。あのね、半島の根元のとこ、ちょうど今走ってる先の方に榊さんとこの会社所有のヘリポートがあるんだけど、ユージも聞いたことなかったっけ？
Come to think of it, I think Sakaki mentioned this before. Apparently it was built more or less for the exclusive use of the company's top brass and their families. Stuck in my mind as a particularly impressive example of late capitalist success. Yeah, now that you mention it. But I heard they weren't using it anymore.
それがね、マキナがさっき調べてくれたんだけど、今日朝からそこで見慣れないヘリが1機ずっと待機してるらしくて。
Seriously?
撮影マニアの集まる掲示板に書いてあったらしいんだけど、いつもはいないはずの背広姿の人たちも周囲をうろうろしてるとかで、妙にピリピリした空気が漂ってるみたい。
I see. Makes sense. I can't do a thing if they ship her out of here in the air. That heliport isn't far from the interchange leading to the highway. Maybe 700 or 800 meters. It's entirely plausible given their current position. And it's hard to think the unusual situation there is a coincidence.
ねえ、これ怪しいと思わない？
Forget fishy. It's probably where they are taking her. Alright, I'm going to end the call. Thanks. It's helpful to know their destination, but that doesn't make this chase any easier. Once she gets on that helicopter, it's game over. I absolutely have to catch up before then somehow. But seriously, this road is the worst! Branches slap against my face, vines catch in my hair, and the rocks randomly lying across the ground are constantly slowing the rotation of my tires. The cars, visible for only brief moments in between gaps in the trees, seem to slowly be pulling further away. My odds of catching up with them are getting longer. I'm going to need some luck at this point. The mountain road I chose as a shortcut was ideal in terms of distance. At full speed, I might have gotten ahead of them by now. But riding on hilly terrain while pushing my way through thick undergrowth cost me even more time than I'd expected. I have to take advantage of the time loss when they disembark. It's not like they can just drive the whole car onto the helicopter. At the very least, it'll take them a minute or two to get everyone out of the car and into the chopper. Now that they've pulled ahead, I can only hope that gives me the chance I need to close the gap. Practically tumbling down the descending path, branching off the mountain trail, I finally rejoin the prefectural road. The heliport in question is only 400 or 500 meters ahead, with the cars that are no longer visible. Can I make it? Ignoring the traffic light ahead, I let my momentum carry me across the intersection, weaving in between the cross traffic. My ears ring from a dozen honking horns as I rush directly toward the heliport. A small facility on a sprawling plot of land surrounded by fences come into view. This has got to be it, if I remember the map correctly. With a powerful squeal from the brakes, I force the bike from its maximum speed to a halt. Damn. Too late. Just as I'm rolling up to the fence, the sound of a helicopter rotor fills the air. There are ways to get a chopper back off the ground, but few that involve it staying in one piece, and none that are available to me now. And following a car is one thing, but chasing a helicopter in a mini velo would be just absurd. I mean, forget a mini velo. No matter what kind of vehicle you have, keeping up with that thing from the ground is going to be very close to impossible. So much for that plan. I watch as the helicopter slowly rises into the sky and turns its nose to the west. For some reason, the direction of its flight strikes me as a little strange. Wait, we're not going to the city? The helicopter's heading almost directly away from Tokyo. It maintains a course to the west, flying parallel to the Shonan coastline. If I remember correctly, to the west of here, there's... But as I'm thinking about the helicopter's possible destination...
A
complete out-of-the-place Kansai drawl rings out in the dry summer air. What? You talking to me?
当たり前やがな。こんな誰もおらへん道で間違いようがあるかいな。
Compared to Amane's relatively soft Kyoto dialect, he's got a seriously strong accent. Probably from the Kawachi area. I see. In other words, my presence in the middle of the road is obstructing your passage.
やっと気づきよったか。分かったらさっさとどいてくれよ。
He's got a dome of hair bleached into such a blinding blonde that even Michiru would bow down, and a sharp beak nose that actually works for him somehow. Expensive clothes, too. About the last guy you'd expect to have such a thick drawl. A character redesign might be in order. But that blonde hair isn't the only thing that clashes with the Kansai accent. Once I get a look at the car he's driving, my eyes stop moving entirely. A Gallardi Spider! What's a car like this doing here? Of all the out-of-place things in front of me, this is without a doubt the most bizarrely misplaced of all. It's the Lamborghini company's signature model, an extremely luxury sports car in the class of the Ferrari, with a sticker price that could buy you a nice chunk of real estate.
お、わかったやんけ。しかもこれは特注品やんね。うちの親父な、東河内の商工会議所におんねんけど、そこがなんや知らんけどイタリーと提携しとってんな。言うたらあかんけど、時速300キロ出せんねんてこれ。
You don't say.
ビビるやろ。ランボリギーニ乗ってるやつはおっても、こんなに乗ってるのはわしぐらいやで。ちょっと兄ちゃん、ベタベタ触らんとってんか。
Yeah. This thing's about as fast as they come. Seriously hard to believe I'm seeing a car like this in Japan.
まあせやな。俺もこう、もうちょいそれ相応の場所に行ったらバーッとスピード出すねんけどな。日本やと捕まってしまうさかいにな。
Anyway, you've seriously got a nice ride here.
なあ、もう分かったやろ。わしパーティー行かなあかんねん。はよどいてくれんと時間に間に合わん。
Leaning in close to the man's beak nose, I speak in a very deliberate tone of voice. A very nice ride.
Huh?
In inverse proportion to the man's fading shriek, the needle in the speedometer soars steadily upward. Amazing! It's my first time actually riding on one of these things. The acceleration is powerful enough to make my whole body tremble. If this was a carefree joyride, I'd be perfectly content to tear around all day in this thing. This is a truly magnificent car.
せやから言ってたやろ。なんぼしたと思ったんねん。
It's impossible to hold a conversation unless we quite literally scream at each other. From what my new friend tells me, the car itself hasn't been remodeled in any way, but it still roars as loudly as any hot rod I've ever seen. Absolutely not the sort of car you should be shipping to Japan of all places.
おお、スピード出しすぎやろ。な、兄ちゃん、スピード見てな、頼む。
Putting around town during the speed limit in a monster like this would just be disrespectful, don't you think? As the man's pressed back into his seat by the G-force, his attempted speech slurs incoherently into a high-pitched little shriek. In the sky ahead, the helicopter continues its calm journey west along the coast. Maybe the wind's a little rough today. For whatever reason, it's flying at a pretty relaxed pace. Hasn't been getting too far ahead of us. Of course, that'd still be completely impossible without this absolute beast of a car, but...
なあ兄ちゃん、さっきも言うたけどもやんな。車は貸してるさかい、ちゃんと時間になったら返してや。パーティー遅れたらめっちゃ怒られるね。お土産の七面鳥も持ってかんと。
I see. Wouldn't do to show up late to a party, I suppose.
せや。だからその、どこに向かっとるんかだけでも教えてくれへんか。
Sure. There's a small corporate airport not far from here.
空港?
Owned and operated by East Beach Transport, a company under the East Beach Railways Group umbrella. It's mainly used for in-company freight planes carrying parts and equipment from overseas. But every once in a great while, a private jet does fly out of there, and the helicopter carrying Sakaki is heading straight for it. You understand where I'm going with this?
はあ、わかるわけないっていうか、榊って一体誰や?
Once that airplane takes off, it's going to become very close to impossible for me to help Sakaki. I'd probably ship her off to some foreign school if I was in her shoes. There's always a risk of information leaking if you hide her in Japan, but that risk gets a lot smaller overseas.
だから、そんな裏事情はどうでもええねん。あとどんくらい借りるのか、それだけ答えてくれたらええんやって。
Right, sorry. We should be there in less than 20 minutes at this pace. Just tough it out for a while.
ほんまやろうな。マジ勘弁してや。
The helicopter seems to have increased its speed ever so slightly. It's very gradual, but I think they're starting to increase the distance between us. I'm going to pick up the pace a little.
まだ上げるの？嘘やろ！ちょっと！
Don't talk. You'll bite your tongue. The instant we turn into a straight stretch of road, I press the gas pedal to the floor.
はい。はい。ありがとうございます。先生のご紹介でしたら、私としても安心でして。はい。娘も本格的に英語を学びたいと、前々から言っておりましたので。もちろんです。門間さんの件も含めまして、近々そちらにもお伺いしようかと思っておりまして。はい。そちら方面についてもどうぞご期待くださいませ。はい。ではこれにて失礼いたします。入りなさい。
失礼します。
状況はどうだ？
今、ヘリで空港へ向かっております。順調に行けば、明日早朝にもアメリカへ到着する予定です。
順調に行けばでは困る。万全を期したまえ。
はい。失礼いたしました。
例の軍人崩れのガキはどうした？
由美子様をお連れするときも姿は一切見えませんでした。おそらくは陸将補の命令で遠ざけられたのではないかと。
そうか。油断はしないようにな。
はい、わかりました。失礼いたします。
海外にでも運んでしまえば、そうそう変な虫もつかんだろうさ。榊家のためにも、おとなしくしていてもらうぞ、由美子。
The scenery flies past at astonishing speed. There's a bit more traffic now, but the oncoming cars flinch in terror the instant they see us approaching. They pull over to the shoulder one by one as we roar down the road. Still can't catch him. Most of my concentration is focused on manipulating the steering wheel, but every few seconds I glance at the helicopter from the corner of my eye. It hasn't really picked up speed, but the terms of this race simply weren't fair to begin with. They're flying a direct course through the sky with no obstacles or signs to worry about. Completely different from chugging along on a public road, no matter how nice your car might be. My friend's voice by now has lost all of its initial vigor, but he keeps up a constant stream of questions about the time. Seems he's really worried about that party of his. Okay, one more turn. It's a straight shot after this. The car drifts into the intersection, tires squealing as the rear swings out to the side. A small sign for the airport flashes past in a fraction of a second before we speed off again. Another 3 kilometers to go. I've got to beat them there and find a way to intercept their cargo. For now, I simply tear down the road running parallel to the coast at full speed. The entrance to the airport comes into view, then a small control tower and a number of nondescript cargo aircraft. Among them is a single plane that's conspicuously different from the others. It's a smaller craft with stripes in the East Beach Express red and blue on its flank. It has to be a passenger jet belonging to the company. And just at its side, the helicopter we've been chasing all this time has already landed. Shit. Too late again? As the crow flies, it's only 300 meters away. Close enough that I can actually see the small group of people boarding the jet. I grope desperately for some sort of solution, but even if I ram my way into the airport, there's not much that I can do now that they're fully embarked. Frustrating as it is to admit, I'm out of ideas. The jet begins to taxi for takeoff practically the instant the door shuts behind the last passenger. So much for my wishful thinking about a multi-hour delay.
もう空港着いたやろ。もうそろそろ勘弁してや。なあ、俺七面鳥届けなあかんってさっきも言うたやろ。
Sorry, but I don't have the time to chat about your bird right now. Bird. The instant the word leaves my mouth, something occurs to me. Hey.
何や?
I've got a question. That turkey of yours, it frozen?
そんなこと聞いて何になるっちゅうね。今そんなこと答えても。
Hurry!
冷凍です。保冷剤も詰めてまして、まだこっちこっちの状態やと。
I see. A wise choice. Hopping out of the driver's seat, I walk over to the passenger side of the car and lightly grab hold of the man's shoulder. You're on the wheel, alright? Just do exactly what I tell you.
おいどういうこっちゃん、空港まで着けばええって言っとったんに、これ以上何せっちゅうね。
This time I lean down and bellow into his ear. Hurry up!
はい。
お父様よりお聞きかとは思いますが、このまま冬季はアメリカに向かいます。
アメリカ？
はい。お聞きではありませんでしたか？
なるほど。厄介払いにはちょうど良さそうな場所ね。
後ほど資料をご用意いたします。お疲れでしょうし、お休みになられた後にでもお目を通していただければと。
わかりました。
The car smashes through the thin fence separating the airport from a public road with a satisfying crunch. Aiming for the runway where the jet's already in position for takeoff, we charge forward at maximum speed.
ああもうどないしょ。フロント直さんとあかんよな。こないだぶつけて直してもらったばっかりやのに。
Alright, line her up beside that jet. After that, just hold steady and keep the accelerator to the floor. While shouting instructions to my good friend, I retrieve a large flashy box from the back seat.
ちょっと何すんねんな。それ俺の七面鳥やでなあ。
A passenger jet takes off at around 285 kilometers per hour. We should just be able to barely catch up with this thing.
おいちょっと話聞けや。いや聞いてくれません？
We can make it if you keep that pedal all the way down. I'm counting on you.
で何すんの？
I take out the enormous lump of bird flesh from its bed of cold gel packs and hold it high into the air like a championship trophy. Gah, the wind pressure. We're traveling at a speed sufficient to lift an airplane onto the sky. The moment I stand up from behind the windshield, the air rushing past my body shakes violently. Somehow holding myself steady, I dig my fingers into the turkey and move my hands slightly forward. It's an absurd plan, and I don't have a chance to rehearse. I can only hope I get the timing and angle of release correct. Still, I've got no choice but to try. Hey, can't you get this thing going any faster?
むっちゃいいよな、もう無理やって。それより俺の鳥どうすんねや。
It won't be possible to catch up when the plane hits V1 speed. We've got to make it before then. All right. Good. Keep going like this. The car slips out from under the engine and begins to push slightly ahead. Carefully watching the distance, I wait for the right moment. Another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Now! Throwing both arms up with all my might, I fling the cold lump into the air and let the wind carry it back. The turkey soars majestically into the sky, and then, instantly captured by the powerful suction of the intake, curves toward the engine.
何の音だ？バードストライクです。エンジンに鳥を巻き込んだようです。なんだと？飛べないのか？無理です。急停止します。早く原因を調べろ。代わりに飛べる機の手配を急げ。はい。何か外で異変が起こったかもしれん。停止したらすぐに調べるんだ。
わかりました。
よし、行け。
はい。
どうした？
何かあったの？
大丈夫です。様子を見てまいりますので、こちらにてお待ちください。
おい、今行くぞ。何があった？
何なの？一体何が？
She's sitting at the very back of the 20-seat cabin, crouching, as if to hide herself. Her frightened expression changes to one of stunned astonishment the moment our eyes meet. Yo. I speak in the same casual tone I always used to greet her in the classroom.
どうして？あなたにこれ以上迷惑をかけたくないから。だから。
Before Sakaki can continue, I snap open my cell phone and show her the screen.
これって私の送った。
Yeah. She probably intended it to be her goodbye. But instead, those words brought me here. Again with the I'm sorry, huh? I told you not to say that anymore, didn't I? Sakaki's bewildered expression crumbles. All of a sudden, she's on the verge of breaking down.
だって私 あなたに本当に迷惑ばかりかけて、だから謝らなきゃって思って。あなただけじゃない、寮の他の子にも、今まで私に関わってきて親切にしてくれた人にも、みんな。
Little by little, her eyes fill with tears. Her voice quavers as she wipes them away with her hand. In that case, keep going until you can repay them properly. Nobody wants your apologies, all right? Try gratitude instead.
感謝で。
That's right. With a nod to Sakaki, I slowly move my hand off the seat and extend it forward. Once, when I was at my absolute rock bottom, my master reached out a hand to me. And now, imitating her as best I can, I reach out to Sakaki.
風見くん。
Sakaki observes my outstretched hand uncertainly. With eyes still full of hesitation, she looks up at me. You're right here, Sakaki Yumiko. I can see you just fine. Come with me. For years, she's refused to acknowledge the girl in the mirror as anything but a character in a play. Shrinking back from the world, she lost her place in it entirely. And so, I begin with a simple affirmation of her existence. I'll get you out of here. I'll hold you up until you can walk. And I'll speak until you find your voice. Don't dance on anyone's strings. You can live your life however you want. I came here to show you how.
逃げるの？
Not quite. I want us to search for an answer.
探す？
Sakaki Yumiko is the daughter of the Sakaki family. She's also, first and foremost, a human being. In the course of a life filled with painful events, completely beyond her control, she's very nearly lost sight of that. But it's an absolute fact. Right now, this girl has lost the ability to live on her own terms. So, until she can find her answer, I'll just have to keep her safe. Now that I've made that decision, I'm not going to back down, no matter what comes next. Even if my own country comes after me. Let's go, Yumiko. Sakaki reacts strongly to that word. I haven't used her name since the day we first reached our weary truce. Today, I'm breaking that seal. It's the clearest way I have to demonstrate how I see her now. Come on, Yumiko. I bring my hand still closer. I think she understands. I'm not talking to the daughter of a railroad tycoon or an antisocial problem child. I'm talking to a fellow human being. And because she understands, her face grows all the more uncertain. A part of her is questioning whether she deserves this. Yumiko! Instead of saying, it's all right, I call out her name and push my hand forward. Sakaki's breath catches in her throat. She moves her mouth slightly without producing a sound, as if to practice. And then, somewhat hesitantly, she speaks.
いいの？本当に？
Yes.
わかったわ。
Yumiko nods and takes my hand. At first, it's a gentle, hesitant touch, but soon her grip grows firm. I clasp her hand tightly in return and draw her up out of the seat. There'll be others coming soon. We need to hurry. Leading her by the hand, I exit the plane by the escape chute. A quick glance around suggests no one's pursuing us yet. Still, I leave at a run, pulling Yumiko along behind me. It's the first time I've ever really held the girl's hand. It feels slender in mine, surprisingly small. From now on, I'll have to lead Yumiko safely forward, shielding her from danger. It's a serious responsibility. I knew that from the start, but right now it feels terribly real. Having someone to protect really weighs you down, Asako. Was it like this for my master when she pulled me along all those years ago? Right now, Yumiko's small hand feels unbelievably heavy. Can a piece of trash like me really carry this kind of weight? I can feel doubt oozing out of me like sweat. That's no good. It'll only make Yumiko uneasy if I start brooding. Shaking my head a little, I resettle my hand around hers. A tight grip, so that it can't slip away. Beyond the quickly parting clouds, I can see the sky gradually turning to red. Night will be here before long. Hey everyone, J Squared John Jeremy here. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click on subscribe and the bell icon to ensure you're kept up to date on the channel. Until next time, so long and take care.